What happens when two people occupy the same space? This, and this, and this. We have the highlights. Arenacross jumped into action for round 2. We have that. The AMA Champions Banquet happened over the weekend, and we talked to some champs who got some special awards. MotoAmerica makes the news. Colton Haker makes socialize. All that and more only on the Racer X Show. Hello and welcome. This is the Racer X Show. I'm your host, Greg, and I know there's a lot of stuff to talk about in a short period of time, but we also have 2015 AMA Pro Hillclimb scheduled to talk about, my Supercross fantasy update, MotoAmerica news, and more. So let's get going.
The Racer X Show with Greg White is being presented by Acerbis, Soul and Passion.
As we like to do, we'll start you off with jumps, humps, and lumps in the Supercross segment, brought to us by Acerbis. This week, it's back to Anaheim, California for what's called A2 Round 3 of the Monster Energy Supercross Series, and what has to be one of the most exciting nights of racing, where the hashtag Who's Next is starting to shape up. As two double winners emerged, Bowers got Bowered, Reedy got into Canard, then got Black Flag. Wait, I am getting ahead of myself. So let's get to round 3 of the 250 West Championship. With the gate drop, 22 of the best shot towards the hole shot line. It was Rockstar Energy Husqvarna's number 16, Zach Osborne, with the award. In second, points leader number 28, Troy Lee Design KTM's Jesse Nelson, which would materialize in an early fight for the lead. As Nelson pops over the start-finish line, he was able to just get a wheel by Osborne, with a nifty move on the inside for the lead. Nelson's teammate Shane McElrath, who had the number 2 gate pick, looked like he was heading for a good night until, with a little help from Josh Hansen, tough blocks, tough luck. The Troy Lee KTM rider would finish 10th. A battle for second between Monster Energy Pro Circuit's number 66, Chris Aldridge, and Osborne was happening until contact and spin out. Osborne would lose a spot or two. Then a charge from the 911 on his teammate. Aldridge, mistake. Lets Tyler Bowers come through. But the biggest mistake of the night, Jesse Nelson, with a solid lead, gets her sideways, clips the tough blocks, gives up the lead. Not long after, Aldridge comes up short, handful of throttle, and his KX250F goes flying in spectacular style. Then the focus turns to number 17, Cooper Webb, who started 12th. This is lap 9 of 15, around the outside of number 32, Red Bull KTM's Justin Hill. And Hill wouldn't give up. This lasted a couple laps, with the Yamalube Star Racing Yamaha rider winning the battle. That was for second. With the 4-time Arenacross champion leading, this was the defining moment of the night. 2 turns from the end, on the last lap, Webb takes his training buddy to the edge and wins the battle. And with that, his second win of the year, and second straight. Cooper Webb from Newport, North Carolina, dominating the West, and all smiles on the top step of the box. Hill's first podium of the year, Malcolm Stewart takes his Geico Honda CRF to 5th on the night. A disappointing 6th for Nelson. That 6th, put up against Webb's win, not only gives Webb the lead, but ties Nelson with Bowers. It's a close one. Now onto the 450 class, where the Who's Next hashtag is playing out as Ken Roczen. But the talk of the night ended up being about a crash, a bump, and a black flag. But we'll get to that. A gaggle of racers crowding turn 1, it was hard to see who had the hole shot. It ended up being number 29 BTO Sport KTM's Andrew Short. Shorty with the hole shot and the lead. But that didn't last long, as RCH Soaring Eagle Jimmy John's Factory Racing Suzuki's Ken Roczen challenged. Shorty's looking good until this section. He doesn't get the lift he needs to make the triple, cases it. Face hits the fender, trying to hold on, hits the deck, and he takes Jason Anderson with him. Short would park it for the night. That left Roczen out front and on his own. So the battle starts for second, with a more aggressive-looking Red Bull KTM racer number 5 Ryan Dungey getting after number 18 Monster Energy Kawasaki's Davey Millsaps. And then, the most talked about moment of the season, number 22 Discount Tires Chad Reed racing it up with number 41 Team Honda HRC's Trey Canard. Canard, with a mistake, lands on the back of Reed, taking them both down. Now this is where it gets interesting. Both riders remount, Canard reaches up with his left hand to take a tear off, and Reedy, with little love tap, sends Canard off the track. Canard goes down. About 20 seconds later, Reedy would be black flagged and his night was over. So the initial contact, a little bump, and Reed is done without a chance to finish the race. More on that in a second. Back to the race. One more incident caught on camera as Yoshimura Suzuki's Blake Baggett with a miscue through the whoops and slams into the face of a jump. He'd come home 10th. All the while, Ken Roczen was rolling out front. And, with the checkered flag, takes his second win of the season in the Monster Energy Supercross Series 450 class. Dungey finished 5 seconds adrift of his former teammate, Eli Tomac, clawing his way into points contention with his second podium of the season. Someone better step it up next week in Oakland because Roczen, he already has 12 points plus on the rest of the best. Okay, so here's the thing about Reedgate. Canard landing on Reed was wrong. Reed hitting Canard was wrong, and two wrongs don't make a right. Throw in the black flag, pulling Reed out of the race, and the internet is all abuzz. Get on social media, join the conversation, voice your opinion. For me, racing has rules and rule enforcers. A decision was made, and that's how it is. We'll see in the coming weeks if anything different is gonna happen, or if this dies down. Chad Reed certainly isn't being shy on Twitter, I can tell you that. Shifting gears to my Moto Dynasty fantasy racing stuff now. Here are the top 5 picks for me on the left versus the actual finishing order on the right. Nailed it on the 250 winner with Webb. As for the 450s, got Roczen. The rest of them, so-so. Hey, you can join and play anytime this season, motodynasty.racerxonline.com. It has it all for you. I'll show you my picks on Twitter around Saturday. Make sure you catch Supercross live on Fox Sports 1 from Oakland, 10 p.m. East. And hashtag Who's Next on all of your social media stuff. They might retweet you. And that's our Supercross segment presented by Acherbys. Now onto the AMSOIL Arenacross Series featuring Ricky Carmichael's Road to Supercross. Round 2 landed in Grand Rapids, Michigan with 2 nights of racing. Friday night, the overall was taken by Babbitt's Monster Energy AMSOIL Kawasaki's Jacob Hayes, who hails from Liberty, North Carolina. He won Main 1 and finished second in Main 2 to Ty Blue Husqvarna team racer Kyle Regal. How did it all unfold? Well, here's Hayes in his own words.
Got off to a kind of a bumpy start, and then took me about 3 or 4 laps to get going, and Chris made a mistake in the whoops and happened to capitalize on that, and then after that just kind of rode my own race, you know. It took me a while to get going today, and luckily I have Travis here to, you know, help me figure stuff out, and had a great race tonight. Yeah, I got up here after the first main event after I won, and then we have to do the inversion pick, and the crowd helped me out on that one, picked me a 0, so I was super stoked about that. You always want to see that big 0 up there, and got off to an okay start again. Not as good as the first one, but rode my way through, and it was a crazy race. You know, my teammate Chris Boyce went down again off the start, and got past all that. Tough blocks were flying, crazy racing, but managed to get through everywhere and came out second. Kyle Regal was riding a great race, and me and my teammate Matt Gorky finished off second and third for the night, so pretty happy.
Regal with a 5-1, taking second overall, with a pair of KTMs rounding out the top 5. Moving on to Saturday night's 2 main events, where round 1 winner Chris Blows was sidelined after a crash Friday, left him with severe bruising and trauma to the side and back. More on that later. That left Babbitt's with 2 riders on the gate, championship co-leader Jacob Hayes, who won Friday, and Matt Gerke. Number 457 Monster Energy Kawasaki Team Green's Darian Sinai took control of the first Arenacross class main event, ahead of number 36 Gerke and KTM rider Willie Browning. Number 617 Gavin Faith, who started 4th, made quick work moving his way to the front and was into 3rd before the completion of lap 2. That same lap, Gerke made a pass on Sinai for the lead. The top 3 paced one another for 5 laps until Sinai went down in the whoops. On lap 7, he was out of competition. With a clear path to Gerke, after assuming control of second place, Faith began to close in on the Kawasaki out front. On lap 11, he made his move and held off Gerke to the checkered flag. Faith then selected the inversion for the second main, opening the box with 8, meaning half the field would be inverted before determining who would walk away victorious. Number 12, Slank-aware KTM Steve Mages took advantage of his improved starting spot in the second main event to grab the early lead over Browning and Faith. The top 3 stayed in the line for the majority of the 15-lap main until Faith made his way around Browning on lap 10, ensuring his position in the overall classification. Mages was relatively unchallenged and went on to win, with Faith second and Browning third. Gerke rode to an impressive 4th place finish, overcoming an 11th place start, just missing out on the podium. Mage's victory in the final main vaulted him to the runner-up spot, while Faith's 1-2 gave him the overall.
Couldn't be more happy. I mean, to get out there on such a wild night and stay clean and get out front. Last night was a little crazy. I probably had one of the hardest crashes I've had in a long time, and to regroup from that and come out tonight with a win, I'm pumped.
Gerke leads the way with 16 over Hayes. Sideline last week's winner Blos slips to 8th. Arenacross is sanctioned by the American Motorcyclists Association under their amateur racing umbrella, as is a ton of other racing, like Loretta Lynn's Amateur Nationals, Dirt Track and Road Race Grand Championships, Bonneville Speed Trials, GNCC Enduro, and more. Well, the annual Champions Banquet took place Saturday night in Columbus, Ohio, where the winners of the coveted 2014 AMA Athlete of the Year awards were announced. We had a chance to catch up with a few after they were handed their awards, like Jordan Jarvis, who won 2 AMA Amateur Motocross Championships and walked away with AMA Youth Racer of the Year.
This means a lot to me and my family. We've had some rough times in the past, and this really helps me know that people are really looking at me and watching me to see what I can do, and I really hope I can prove them that I am the best girl at my age, and I really hope to see 2015 come as good or better as this year is.
RJ Hampshire was a multi-time champ at the Amateur Nats at Loretta's and the 2014 AMA Motocross Horizon Award winner. He took home AMA Grand Championship Athlete of the Year.
To be recognized at such a high level and in front of the AMA and for the whole pretty much AMA community to vote for, it's a huge thing for me, and just thankful for it all. A year ago I never expected something like this to happen to me, so I'm just stoked on it.
Erin Hunter Sills is a land speed racer and AMA and world record holder and won the AMA Female Athlete of the Year.
I'm humbled to think that I represent women in the sport of motorcycle racing, and what I would hope to say is that I'm continuing to carry a torch forward that my mom and the generations before her have lit.
And finally, the top prize for all AMA racing champions, the AMA Athlete of the Year, voted by AMA members. That honor goes to GNCC XC1 National Champion and top American at the 6 Days Enduro, Caleb Russell.
Obviously, going into 2014, I expected to do well, coming off my first championship in XC1 class, and I'm the kind of person that really I absolutely hate to lose, and I'll do, if I can't win, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to the point where I can win. So I had a great year, and it's going to be tough to top 2014 off, but it's definitely possible. So looking forward to the next 3 or 4 years, and hopefully we can stay where we are.
Congratulations, Caleb. And now it's socializing time. A brief look at some social media stuff that's caught our eye. Earlier we told you about Chris Blos and him not being able to ride Saturday night in Michigan. Well, check out this Instagram. Chris told me that a tough block flew from one lane into the landing of a jump. He landed on it and blammo. We hope you get better soon, Chris. And how about this cool action posted by Endurocross racer Colton Haker? He said, built a transfer landing at the Hacienda today. Hey, that is really nice stuff. AMA Pro Racing released the AMA Pro Hillclimb Championship schedule, and here's a look. Things kick off May 30th in Cookeville, Tennessee. Soon after, over to Spring Grove, PA. Then it gets busy. Freemansburg, PA on the 17th. 2 days later, during Laconia Bike Week in New Hampshire. That's round 4. Round 5, a month away in Michigan. A break until September, where it's back to PA for 2 until the finale in Oregonia, Ohio on October 11th. If you've never been to a hill climb event, you oughta. It's fun. Keeping an eye on what MotoAmerica, the new home for the AMA Superbike Series, is up to, they announced a tiered entry system for competition. So if you're going to be racing the series, if you sign up for a premier entry, you're guaranteed purse, paddock, hospitality footprint, permanent credentials, and media initiatives. There's also a season entry and a single entry. For race fans, MotoAmerica wants to fill these premier spots so you can follow a constant field of racers all year long. I like that move. It's a good one in my opinion. And next week, we'll have more information about MotoAmerica's KTM 390 series, a spec class set to race racers 14 to 22 years of age at the pro level. That's pretty exciting. We want you to get out and watch some racing. In Colorado Springs, what better way to do it than with Arenacross and the Ricky Carmichael Road to Supercross Friday and Saturday night at the Broadmoor World Arena. And NorCal Supercross returns to Oakland at O.co Saturday night. Tickets are available, so go check it out.
The Racer X Show with Greg White is being presented by Cherubies, Soul and Passion.
Okay, that'll do it for us for now. Now, last week we told you about racing from Daytona. Endurocross kicks things off Friday night before Supercross, and we'll have more on that. Also, there's road racing going on, Enduro, flat track, GNCC's in the area. We'll tell you all about that in the coming weeks. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you check out all of our social media. Twitter and Instagram, it's Racer X Show. On YouTube, it's The Racer X Show. Like us, follow us, spread the word, and feel free to post it around. We appreciate it. Well, for the fine crew here at The Racer X Show and for everyone at Racer TV, I'm Greg White. Remember, we are all racing all the time. Bye-bye.